Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Great American Auto Scene. Am I Hot Rod Bob Beck? I think not, friends. Hot Rod Bob Beck is stuck in traffic, which, you know, Anna Octane, that is perfect for a car-related show to be stuck in traffic.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing, too, is that just a couple of weeks ago on the very same show that we're on right now, you and Stormy Bird, who are on the show, you guys were stuck in traffic, too.
Yes, we were. We got here 3 minutes before air. That was a close call.
Well, you beat Bob Beck, who isn't here yet, but he's going to be here in about 5 minutes. But we got plenty to talk about while we wait for Bob. And I guess just to kick things off, Anna Octane, there's something, in fact, we can flash up a picture here just to kind of get this started. By the way, how's the temperature tonight? How you feeling?
Actually, I don't feel good. I have a fever, so I might be naked under my coveralls.
Holy
I think
moly.
listeners should go onto our Facebook page and vote. Is she naked? Is she half naked? Or is she clothed? And whoever wins gets a poster.
Okay.
Zoom, zoom.
Zoom, indeed. We did a quick zoom in right there.
You're zooming in.
Yeah, it didn't reveal anything, though,
No.
so we'll just have to guess it all. Yeah, so, okay, let's give it a little backstory here, because you are closely associated with the Peterson.
Yes.
And because of that, we can display pictures like what we're about to see here on screen. Just going to pull it up now. What is this?
Isn't that fabulous? That is opening tomorrow. We have the High Art of Riding Low, Renflas, Corazon, and Inspiration. And it's a Mr. Cartoon exhibit. Mr. Cartoon is a tattoo artist and graffiti artist. And that, my friends, is a 3/4 scale piñata of the famed Gypsy Rose lowrider that was seen in Chico in the Man in the opening credits.
Isn't that also the same car that spent some time on the mall in Washington, D.C.
That
this year?
is. So that car, we're still trying to figure out what that's made out of.
Okay.
Is it styrofoam? Is it balsa? Does it have a wire armature? Is it plywood? Is it cardboard? But it does have aluminum foil and tissue. That is all hand-laid tissue. It's similar to a rose float, and it's actually hopping. It's suspended from the ceiling.
So,
And that's Mr. Cartoon's bomb.
Oh, okay.
Right
so,
there.
Yeah, let's take a look at that, and we'll see more of that Piñata Impala, too. That's kind of
And
a tongue twister.
It's an art show. And so you come in and you see all kinds of Latina culture inspired and interwoven with the automobile culture because they have a very close connection to that.
You know, it is true, and of course, you do a lot of work with the magazines, writing, photographing, and I do some enough car shows when I'm not making up excuses for not doing it. That we know part of the Latino culture, at least for a lot of drivers, are cars like this where they're fully decked out, the sun visors, the clamp-on air conditioners that came with the cars on the outside windows and stuff like that, and so yeah, that is period correct.
That is actually Mr. Cartoon's personal car. So it's got airbrushed graphics and deep blue metal flake fenders. And he actually drove it into the exhibit. And, thank God for these guys because they are conserving and restoring and saving vintage steel. These cars could be ending up in a landfill, and now they're rolling pieces of artwork, which is pretty beautiful.
Yeah, and it is interesting when you can rescue a car like this because some of the cars are really just pedestrian Chevys and mostly Chevrolets. I think it seems to be the thing, and then Cadillacs, but they aren't particularly any value. A lot of them are just four doors or just a sedan. But then when you do this stuff to it, it's a whole new life.
And this is a traditional lowrider because they have 13, 14, and 15-inch wheels. Anything over a 16-inch wheel is a modern lowrider, like the big bomb kind of donk wheels. These are all traditional cars that are on display. We have a car that is hand-painted like a chili pepper. And we have a hand-painted Day of the Dead vehicle on display as well, interspersed with artwork. So that opens to the public on Friday at the Peterson Automotive Museum.
Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, and we encourage you to come down and look at the Gypsy Rose.
Wow, that is something. Now, 3/4 scale, that's still a huge piñata.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's any candy
There's
inside?
no candy in it. And underneath has black tissue paper that is cut in the shreds so it moves with the wind.
Oh, that's cool.
And if you have the front shot, the headlights are tinfoil. Isn't that beautiful? And it's hopping. It's doing its hopping lowrider dance there. It's so cool.
Man.
You know, I don't know who the artist is. I wasn't able to find out because this picture is shot through the glass when they're still setting up the exhibit, so I wasn't really able to get any information. But, God, isn't that beautiful? That is a piece of craftsmanship.
Man.
Look at all of that tissue.
Wow.
There is a rumor that maybe it will be seen in the Rose Parade this year, but I'm not sure.
Depends on if it lasts that long.
Yeah, there's the info on the show, and we were trying to figure out, Bob.
What?
Thanks for showing up.
Yeah, I'm glad I could make it.
We missed you.
It's one of those things where it doesn't matter how many horsepower you have. If you can't get through the car in front of you, you're stuck. And typical LA traffic, my 30-mile drive took me 2 hours.
Right.
Man, isn't that the truth? There's got to be another way, we've been saying for 50
Well,
years.
there is, but I don't have a helicopter license, and you don't have a landing
We could
pad.
drone. We can drop in and drone.
Yeah.
Drop and drone.
Drop and drone.
Drop and drone, yeah, okay.
So, do you think that lowrider pinata is made out of styrofoam or
Cardboard.
But it's hanging from the ceiling, so wouldn't it need a wire armature? Otherwise, the roof would collapse.
A wire armature.
Yeah.
They probably use chicken wire as the basis.
Which
I wanna
would be
go
like
home
a
and make
Rose
one.
Parade float. Yeah, I know. But then what? What do you now? Okay, now you've made it. Then what?
You just hang it in the house, and all your friends come over and think you're so cool.
Come over and see my pinata. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it, and don't bring your baseball bat.
Yeah. I got the
And,
only 64 Chevy pinata in town.
There's a piece of artwork that I shot off of the cover of the flyer. It's the one with the burning heart.
Burning heart.
Did you see it? It's this one.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll have artwork like this on display, which is also really beautiful, and it's going to be fun. So come on down.
Come on down.
Come on down.
Yeah. You got a bunch of things going on at Peterson coming up.
Oh, yeah,
soon
we
is
have,
the Deuce Days.
The Deuce Days. We have all the America's Most Beautiful Roadsters up on
Yeah.
the second floor.
Really?
And
How far back?
at least 1960. 1950.
50.
We have the Niekamp
Niekamp,
Roadster.
the blue one, yeah.
And the Dick King Roadster, which was the first runner-up. And then we have the XR6 from Winfield and Barris and Steve Swaha.
The
and
XR6. That
Yeah.
was Tex.
Yeah.
Tex Smith.
Smith. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was.
That's
I
there,
love that
and-
car because I had the model of it too, and that was one of the things where I've always liked oddball engines, and this used the aluminum slant 6 from Chrysler, if I remember correctly, and it was quite unique and stylish at the time. I mean, it still looked like a T Roadster, but it didn't look like a T Roadster.
Oh, it's futuristic for
Yeah.
1963.
Oh, heck yeah! Oh yeah.
Okay, so what else do we have? What are we going to talk about? Let's talk about the Lions drag strip
The
exhibit.
Lion Drag Strip. You and I were both there, along with Stormy Bird and a few thousand of our closest nearest friends, and the history makers, the people that made the history in drag racing. Now, one of the things, we were at a place called Price Transfer. This is a company that is trucking and shipping, and there's Stormy's car right there. This is a warehouse, probably 500,000 square feet.
So, in the common parlance, it's freaking huge.
Oh,
Yes.
boy, is it big. It's big enough that he built a 50s diner inside, a Texaco station, a hobby shop,
A movie
speed
theater.
shop, a movie theater, and he's recreating the starting line and crossover bridge from Lions Drag Strip inside the building.
Man.
Now, that was only inside the building, and what you're seeing here is the loading docks.
And that's some of the original cars that ran there.
There were many original cars that ran, including some of the original drivers that ran there. The cars were in better shape, but they were a lot of guys were in great shape. We got to talk to a lot of the people. Now, this area right here is where the crossover bridge is going to be, and the starting line and grandstands that were at Lions Drag Strip back then. Now, they're recreations, they're not the original ones because no one knows where those are.
Sure.
But those are original jackets and original
Yeah.
trophies.
And Mr. Lorenzen, who owns Price Transfer, he is a lover of Lions Drag Strip. He's never raced.
He had a friend that raced there, didn't he?
He knew people that raced there. He has a collection of Willys and other vehicles that were on display.
Which you'll see, because I took pictures.
You took pictures.
426 photos.
Oh, my gosh, you were busy.
Yeah.
That is.
Now,
hey, there's a Tommy Ivo car. in
Two
the corner.
Tommy Ivo cars, the funny car as well as the dragster.
Oh.
Now, this I shot at about 8 o'clock in the morning when we were loading in, so not all the stuff is on the table. And oh, look at that.
And the people that came in, now the gates open to many of us early, but for the regular spectators, it wasn't until later that afternoon, like 11 o'clock. Now, there's the original Batmobile. Now, what you see behind that, you can't tell. It looks just like a blue screen there. That's actually what is going to be a mural of Lion's Drag Strip. And what you see in those lighter colors that are on there, that's white. It's already been drawn out.
Oh.
The artist is kind of paint by numbers type situation, is filling in the spots with the colors and the mural. If you can't tell in this photograph, but it is extremely detailed.
I thought that was chalk or grease marker. It might be chalk.
Sure.
The white chalk?
Yeah, it was on the wall.
Yeah,
where he
white
was
chalk on the
painting.
wall that I
Yeah.
could use.
That
now,
is
this is the Sauer Sisters, the Road King members. Now, Kenny Safford is unfortunately passed away. Don Gady wasn't in attendance, but Don Radican was. These were the Sauer Sisters, and they got their name from Tommy Ivo. Because after losing a race, they were all sitting in the same garage as Ivo was, and they were all, grousing about, we did this. So he called them the Sauer Sisters, and the name stuck.
It's so funny. Oh.
Those old drag racers are characters. Oh, my
boy,
God,
are
the
they ever.
stories that they told.
And some of them we can repeat.
Okay, well, let's do the one story that Kurt Hamilton told me.
What did he tell you?
Kurt Hamilton of Cal Auto, 1963, they were doing Jaguar rear ends. He had a friend who was such a cheapskate with nitro that one time he got water in his nitro. So he took it home and froze the water out of the nitro and then reused it. Isn't that creative?
Wow, that's creative.
Put it in ice cubes in the freezer.
Yeah, well, hey, why not? Here, have some. That would have lowered my blood pressure. I mean, I've got the pills.
There you go. Yes,
That is the original Moon Eyes race car.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Chico was there.
Yeah,
Chico
Chico-
and
yeah,
was Shige there?
No, Shige wasn't there. He was
Okay.
at another show. But Shun, one of Shige's friends that I met in Japan when I was over there, was there as well. The Chisler. Now, that Chisler you just showed, that car is
silver.
going to be at Verona for the Nitro Revival, and Jack Beckman is going to be driving.
Ooh.
Is that actually driving it, making a pass, but not?
No, not making. He'll be cackling the car.
Okay, cackling. Yeah.
This is going to be a very large cackle fest, I guess you could say.
It's going to be
Nitro
what the
Revival.
Hot Rod reunion should have been last year, and wasn't,
I'll let you say that.
and made everybody really mad. So they're doing a exodus or pilgrimage to Verona
Now it's going to be
to do it the right way.
Now it's going to be a 2-night thing, kind of thing, because it is the last on Friday is the last cruise night at Grand Boulevard in Escondido,
Okay.
and Cruising Grand's going to have at least 20 top fuel cars on nitro driving down the street.
Oh my
That is the
Lord!
conclusion of the cruising season in Escondido. So that's going to happen on Friday. Then Saturday, Verona Drag Strip. I'm going to be down for both.
Now, those are original jackets and original
Yes.
trophies that were brought out for display. And just the trophies alone are worth a small fortune, as are the jackets.
Yeah, when I was over at the Moon Eyes show in Yokohama, there was a guy selling as many of these original jackets as he was able to get, and they were averaging $1,400 to $1,500 each.
Well, you can always donate them to the Lions Drag Strip Museum and get a tax write-off and let us preserve it.
Yeah, it's one thing Mr. Lorenzen's doing. He is preserving as much of Lions as he can, and a lot of the museum that he has set up is based on his growing up time. And I believe the story that was told to me by Dave Mandela was that Mr. Lorenzen and his dad had a gas station.
Well, look at that. The firsts for Lions right there.
There we go. Break 200 miles an hour. Let's see, who was it? It was, it was shown on KTLA Channel 5.
In 1961.
1961. We think about those mile per hours, and those were amazing at that time, because I believe they were also saying that cars couldn't go that fast.
They also had the rollers at the starting.
The roller on the starting line.
Stormy's car was run in Lions in 1965.
That-
And Dar Hawthorne, bless his soul, came out with some record books from the tower, and it's taken Stormy 35 years, he finally found the Bill Earl timing notations from the tower to see what the car ran in 65, 66, 67.
Do you remember what it was?
It was 170. It was going pretty good. 180, about what it's still doing now.
About what it's doing now.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
At
it was
that point in
exciting.
time,
I'm sorry. There's a notation. You'll see that one of the original. Bob's pinching my hiney under the table.
Looky.
Just so you know, because you
Yes.
weren't here,
I don't know.
we put a little challenge out to our viewers that if they can figure out if I'm naked under my if I'm naked under my overalls, they'll
I'm
win a
naked under
poster.
my clothes.
You know why? Because
Why?
I love Elmer Snyder, and Elmer
Yes.
Snyder said to me, I'm naked under my fire suit. Do you want to get in with me? I'm like, no, I don't. So am
fit.
I naked or am I not naked in honor of Elmer Snyder?
Well, Stormy's not here, so we're not going to find out for
I'm
a
a
while.
very naughty, not
Oh, you're so
very
cute.
naughty. All right, some more trophies. Those are
More
collectible, all wood.
Yes.
Wow, just like trophies used to be.
Yeah,
They're
these
like
were-
little pieces of art.
They're art by today's standards. By then, they were exotic things, and I got this great trophy. There was very little plastic at that point in time either.
Yeah.
When you saw something like that, that was cast and plated metal.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow, they are.
That is a
gorgeous.
cup holder,
Look
a
at that.
trophy cup holder.
Someone made their trophy into a cup holder.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
That's a
Oh,
great little design, very aerodynamic.
Yes,
That,
yes.
it's similar to the trophy that they give out at Bakersfield every year at the March meet.
Beautiful. That's a big one right there. That's got the flaming eagle.
I think it's great they were able to source all this old stuff.
Yeah, they were. A lot of it was. Now, that's one of the very famous. You're wearing the Dragmaster shirt. That is the Dragmaster car.
Yes, I'm flying
Bobby.
the colors here just like the car.
Yes. But that's
Should
the
we say
Dragmaster
hi,
car.
Bobby?
Hi, Bobby.
Hi,
Schlegel.
Bobby Schlegel. Now, that's not a push truck, is that? What is
no,
that?
it looks like someone's work truck.
Why would that be there?
Because he got to spot the park. I don't know.
All the push trucks were outside.
Well, yeah, he wasn't an official push truck for the event, but that truck was probably utilized during the early days. Now there's the Sidewinder that was there, and they used that. They cackled that car.
Is that a Topolino? Is that what that is?
Topolino behind it, then the dragster is either the Speed Sport, I believe. Yeah, I believe that's the Speed Sport car. Looks kind of like it.
Remove before flight.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is this Bobby?
Ooh, we said the word Dragmaster and Bobby
Bobby
called.
calls.
Appreciate it, man.
My.
Imagine that.
Because Dragmaster.
Oh, but he's watching. That's good.
He's got one, doesn't he?
Yes, he does have at least one. He's got 2 old dragsters.
Yeah, how about it?
That's,
Look at that.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Love the old Dragmaster chassis.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta go see.
Look at that one with the Swiss cheese holes in it. It's a light in it.
Yeah.
Probably saved about 3 ounces. And that looks like the twin-motored car.
Hey, Bobby, you want to speak?
Yes, let's talk to Bobby. I'm sure he has Dragmaster trivia to tell
I know,
us.
and he missed the Lions reunion. That was one of the early AFX / funny car type cars.
That is the father of the modern day funny car.
That is the AFX class cars.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Hey, we were just talking about the Dragmaster cars, and guess who's on the phone?
We woke Bobby up.
Bobby.
Bobby,
Hey gang,
there?
how you doing?
We're
Hi,
doing-
Bobby.
How you doing, guy?
How's everything? Good.
It is
Yeah.
great.
Yep. The pictures of the Lions Museum is unbelievable. I saw your clip on Facebook there with your pictures, and
Good.
just brought
That's
back
Art
some good
Chrisman's
memories.
hot rod with the pinstriped flat grill there.
Bobby, you're gonna have to try and make it out here for next year's.
Yeah, I'm doing a couple of plans. Hopefully, if I still got the 2 legends, I might have them out at Bakersfield.
Oh, great for the reunion.
Yeah, I want to try and bring them out there and put them on the lawn there and the crane car.
Oh, that'd be great.
And
Yeah.
then you can go home and leave them at my house.
Okay.
And I'll babysit.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, a lot of history in this display. It was pretty impressive.
And what Anna's showing us right now is just the inside, and that's not all of the inside.
Yeah, you had a couple of pictures I noticed when you were emceeing over there with a couple of the fuel cars outside. They just the way it was set up there with the trucks in the background and the loading docks,
Yeah.
it reminded me of over here in Danbury, Connecticut, there used to be Marcus Dairy, and that's where our cruises were on Saturday night, and that's where the Dover Drag Strip reunion was for 21 years at that parking lot. And as soon as I saw the trucks and the loading dock, it went deja vu to Marcus Dairy.
Wow! All right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, this was a warehouse that he's converted into a museum. And,
Oh, wow.
He owns a number of warehouses in that area. This is part of his collection of Willys, and you've got the original Stone Woods and Cook car along with the reproduction alongside it.
Yep.
That's the
I
reproduction.
sat in that car and touched it. It was like,
you?
oh,
Did you have
Nirvana.
Did you have your overalls on, or were you
I was wearing a diaper.
a diaper?
I'm so excited.
I'm not going any further than that. I'm sorry, folks.
Okay, now this is important. There
Yes.
are 12 guys that passed at Lions, and they want to do a tribute wall to them.
Right.
And the names are on, you can't really see those, but if you know any information on those guys, if you could contact us and let us know, we will forward it to the committee that is doing the display.
I got a clearer copy here. It says, see, David Gendian, Joe Coper, Mickey Brown, Leonard Harris, Boyd Pennington, Pete Peters, Joe Jackson. Let's see. It looks like Harold Amix.
Yes.
Johnny Hoffman, Tim Lampley, Tom Polkinghorn, and Ken Kotalak or Kotalak. I don't know. How you
Correct. Now, the interesting thing is somebody showed up with some old drag news from 1959, and those guys were in there.
Oh, wow.
So we took pictures and sent them to the display guys so they can get the info and blow them up. And these are just some pictures on the wall. Is this Howard Cams? What is this?
That's the dragster.
Okay.
It's doing a wheelie. Look at the Nova in the background.
Yeah.
I want that wagon.
Yeah. So, Bobby, what's new and exciting back on the East Coast while we're doing this here on the West Coast?
We're just getting ready. We got a Division I points race this weekend up at Lebanon Valley where we host our Dover show every year.
Okay.
And so the car I was involved with for 10 years there when I was crew chiefing it with my friend there, we did some tweaks on it. So we're going to go up and get some runs and get it ready for a couple of the other, division races in the area.
Great.
And then just trying to get some cruises together. And I think I'm going to be heading down to Virginia for a couple of nostalgia drag race, car shows and displays and stuff. I'm just getting in touch with a couple of friends down there to make sure it's the right dates and everything that I heard of. I haven't had flyers yet, but trying to get some miles on my pick 'em up, and then hook them up and just take them out and have fun and get some more history of everything in the area.
Oh, that's great. That's good.
All right, my friends, I got to rock and roll.
All right, go ahead.
Thanks for calling.
All right, if you guys need any answers or questions, give me a shout and I'll see what I can get from the East Coast for you.
Sounds great. Thanks, Bobby.
All right, be safe. Thank you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, that's a book that just came out
Yes,
that
you
I
got
was
it.
having everybody sign, and that's the author of the book. He's also a hot rod artist. And they were looking at some of the vintage photos, and then that is a real fender cover
From Lions.
from Lions.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Now, when Stormy was 10 years old, he used to go
He
there
was
with
10
his
years
brother
old.
and his dad
Yeah.
and watch that car
Yeah.
run. And
That's so great.
and he ended up buying it and didn't realize until he got the car that it was the same car, and now he is the custodian of that vehicle, and
Yeah.
and it's
Historic
wonderful.
vehicle.
Ooh,
Now we're
there's
going on
the arcade.
inside. Now, inside this arcade and inside the building, there's one section that was dedicated to movie cars. And if you look at that Thunderbird, there's a movie that may come to mind with two women.
Thelma and Louise.
Right, flying off a cliff. Only that one didn't go off the cliff.
Good thing.
There's the Kit car.
Oh,
There's
great.
The Bullet Mustang.
The Bullet Mustang. There's Christine, the Plymouth.
Ah,
Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. It's one of the Firebird Smokey Bandit cars. There's a pink Cadillac. We figured that went to Elvis,
yeah.
or is to replicate Elvis. But if you look at behind those cars, there are little shops there. These are recreations of the shops that had something to do with
The
Mr.
era.
Lorenzen growing up.
Yeah.
And inside the hobby shop, which is the one that I really liked, there are actual model kits from the 50s and 60s.
Oh, that's cool.
There are a few cars that are assembled. The monogram Big T, I've got one of those kits now, but he's got the original kit and one of the originals built. And the difference being is that back then, There were no mag wheels. You didn't put mag wheels on a hot rod. No self-respecting hot rodder had mag wheels.
Yeah.
You had steel wheels with baby moons.
Sure.
This has got the steel wheels, the baby moons, and it's got slicks, the pie crust slicks on it. So it's the original kit, and he's got another one on the shelf, and hundreds of other models. He's got Rennwald made the visible V8.
Oh yeah, I had
You
one
can
of those.
still get those now. It's a Revell monogram reproduction.
Yeah.
But the Rennwald one was different. It was electric powered. It had a little motor in it, and it also had a chassis that you could put it in.
I did not know
It had a
that.
chassis with working brakes, transmission,
That must have been
differentials. And they were all
huge.
cutaway. It was. I found a couple online on eBay, and it would take a month's salary for me to buy one.
I believe it.
But they've
'cause-
got them.
Yeah, I believe the visible V8, the one you're talking about that was
Mm-hmm.
electric powered, I think it was the starter or the generator alternator that spun the engine.
So, yeah, it was something in there, and then the new ones have a crank. Now this is Tommy Ibo's funny car, and I forget who it is that restored it, but it was one of the current drivers, that runs the Pro Series Top Fuel funny cars. Restored this car, found that Tommy helped him find, I think, the body. He was sitting in someone's backyard.
God.
And this is a shot before, of course, everybody came in, so
Right.
you get to see. Why
And
is that
the
there?
restroom,
Oh,
I
you
don't
know why
know.
I shot the restroom? Because
No.
I want to do that wood patterning on my drawers at home.
That's
that,
pretty
that was my
cool.
You're gonna
reference
put wood
photo.
paneling on your pants.
Oh my! There's Mousy Marcellus.
What kind of drawer?
Change the subject.
Yeah.
No, that is the
No, that was a that was an interior design reference
Interior
photo.
design reference. Yeah, so that's the current Winged Express
Mm-hmm.
that Mike Boyd drives.
Man, oh man.
I
Now,
stole
this is
that.
that was something that was given out to some of the VIPs that came in.
Yeah, I wasn't a VIP. I took it anyway.
Okay,
Just right
Rick
off the
Lorenzen, the
table.
owner of the Price Transfer, was the one that we can thank for doing all this.
That's the Christian Customs. Now that was
That's that 50 Ford.
Yeah. Now
with the flathead. He was
lost
there.
his leg at the age of 16 in a motorcycle accident.
Jeez.
And he has been racing. He's a
Ever
one-legged
since.
racer. Those were the push trucks that we just saw, the Nitro Mafia.
And people setting up and starting up.
And
There's
that-
the sticker that Cindy Gibbs has come up with for the Nitro Revival,
Oh yeah, and
There's
some more
cool
push vehicles.
push
including
vehicles.
Steve Gibbs' own Ford.
God.
Harry Hibbler was there. He was the former publisher of Hot Rod Magazine when I
Yeah.
was working over there, and he said, "Did I yell at you?" I was like, "No, you never yelled at me. You don't have to make amends for anything."
You don't have to
like-
apologize. That was a train barbecue.
Yes, that was the Choo Choo Q.
That is
Choo Choo Q.
fantastic.
It weighs 5.5 tons,
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
and he had it made in Texas.
Yeah,
And he
figures.
can feed 1,000 people on that thing. It's amazing.
Just about did. Now, some of the cars coming in, we had to have all the cars in place, I believe, by 10 o'clock before they would let the gates open to have spectators come in. Now, I talked to Chico. They just restored this dragster. It wasn't finished until the night before.
Jeez.
They powder coated, they repowder coated, they repolished everything. Chico and Shige were putting this together until the night before the event.
And
it
God
is
bless
totally
Chico
done.
and Shige. They have really seamlessly melded the East and West love of drag racing
Yes.
from their Yokohama Japan show and their Irwindale events, and really brought drag racing worldwide.
That's Mr. Stewart's old car.
That is one of the Renegade's girlfriends.
Ah,
She was a trophy girl. Yeah, Jack Stewart's
Jack
car.
Stewart's car.
There are the Renegade trophy queens.
Wow.
Look at their beautiful dresses.
I know
Yes.
it was a different time, wasn't it?
Were they naked under their dresses?
No.
Oh,
No, they weren't.
Full
eh?
petticoats, looking like they're going to prom. Very
Petticoat
professional and conservative. No tattoos.
no, none of them had.
Very
no one
elegant and classy.
women did not have tattoos in those days. And many men didn't. Usually it was reserved for sailors or people who got drunk.
Right.
And this is the original Vulcan's Car Club vehicle.
Yeah,
And
32 Vicky.
They had a nice little display there. There's the Renegade. Look at those beautiful swimsuits.
Yeah, with a little less. Now, I wonder if they are naked under the swimsuits.
I don't know. That's a good possibility.
Probably, but you just look how sexy the curve. The curve of the girls is just so sexy.
Yep.
You don't need to let it all hang out.
It's true, yeah.
And now that is a crazy Stromberg aircraft carburation system for their original race car.
Yep.
Isn't that amazing?
Updraft came off an Allison aircraft engine.
Oh, is that right? Jeez.
That's one of their ads for on display. Now this, some of it may be blurred, but I went and shot the video.
Yes,
that was
they were
on a
playing
loop.
I would love to get that video. They were
Yeah.
running that video all day long. The history of Lions, the cars, the people.
There was footage I had never seen before,
No.
and they had the soundtrack, and it was amazing. And so I just stood there for half an hour, clicking away, and they've got some guys in there who are doing some interviews. You'll probably know who they are.
Some of them.
And there you go.
You had the guys
Zoom.
from ABC, Wide World of Sports. You had the guys from KTLA News, because they used to cover drag racing. Motorsports was very well received in Southern California.
It's a vintage fire mask, and you can see the red velvet in the background. This is actually set up in a true little theater.
Yeah, and they had these screens in about almost every room, so you didn't have to go into one room. Now they're the Rain for Rent. Those are the guys out of Bakersfield, the Ridge Route Terrors, as they call them, Warren, Colburn, and Miller.
Wow.
Isn't that sexy?
That is amazing.
Yeah, that was.
And that was before Stickum was put on the track.
So, yeah,
These are the days when you had to drive your vehicle.
it was just,
And there's James Warren from Warren and Colburn Drag Team. They interviewed him, and he was talking about how, things broke, and
Yeah,
he tried
so
to not
they did.
hit the wall. And he said, back then we were just kids having fun. We had no idea that we were going to be legends.
No
we
one,
just were having fun.
That's all it was. It was guys. You had. We were looking at that thing that Dar had with all the registrations, and there was one time where there was over 80 Top Fuel cars that showed up for a race,
wow.
and that was the days.
And that
when
looks like yesterday, doesn't it?
yeah, and you didn't have to have a Hemi, you didn't have to have major sponsorship.
Sorry, blurred. I got excited and shook. Little handshake there. Mm-hmm. Camera shake.
I mean, those are the days when you had, 64 funny cars was not uncommon. 80 Top Fuel cars from all over Southern California and Northern California. They were built in garages. They weren't high tech. You didn't have amazing shops building chassis. These were built at home for the most part. You had Dragmaster that built drag racing chassis, and you had a few guys that were starting to get into production chassis at the time. The original Winged Express. That's
Sure.
the real one.
Was
with
that Willie?
behind the ball. Yes, that's Willie.
Hi, Willie.
Wow.
And one of the cars that I was so excited to see was the original Green Monster, the Allison aircraft-powered dragster. That was probably the main reason NHRA banned other than automotive engines. Because it had 4 slicks on the rear, and it still smoked them all the way down the track. And he fired it up and cackled it.
Holy
So it was
cow.
a running, driving vehicle.
Jeez.
Oops. Sorry.
We got to see some of the cars, Anna.
Keep going.
We're going.
You just keep
The
going.
snake. Boy, look at it. He was almost smiling in that picture.
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah. That's a
He-
rare moment.
And did they have engine explosions back then? Yes, they did.
It's interesting too. Virtually all of this would be film that's transferred
Yes.
into video.
Oh.
Yeah. It
So
wouldn't
that's
be
what
video.
is that from the
Oh, look, they
news
were drafting.
clips?
Drafting.
There's no
I don't know if
drafting
this
in
is
drag
home
racing.
footage or home footage or news
I'll
clips.
bet you it could be all of
Could have
the
been
above.
both. Oh, look at the dragster
Yeah.
doing
Holy
a
cow.
flip over. It's
Yeah.
flip over. We credit Don Garlitz with doing that and Eddie Hill, but no, it
Oops.
happened back in the early days too. This wasn't unique to them, but they didn't get the publicity back then that nowadays is normal. Another engine explosion, but I bet you what, the engine was back together and they were racing the next weekend.
Yeah.
Except that body doesn't look like it made it.
Oh.
No, I don't think that one was back together the following weekend.
Not much
Oopsie.
there.
But they got him out. I forgot who that was. I think that's the one where Mickey Thompson ran in and pulled him out.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I forgot who that was, but yeah.
Cooked it.
There's Mike Thermos. All the guys, and then today they're running around. They're 71, telling their stories, 80, and
still going strong.
Still-
I tell you what, it was amazing. In all the years I've been doing the nostalgia races, I've seen Roland Leong. I don't know, countless times. I finally got to actually sit there and talk with him. I didn't put him on the mic. I didn't want to. That was not my intention. I wanted to actually introduce myself and meet him, and he had no problems talking. And we chatted for about 10, 15 minutes back. When we had the chance after the Cackle Fest was over. But this shows you some of the cars, the original cars. Many of these cars or reproductions of these cars were out that day.
yeah.
And some of them were firing up. Some of them were just there for display purposes. We had funny cars that were firing
Is that
up.
Larry Sutton? Was that Larry?
Yep, that's Larry
There's
right there with the
Larry.
cowboy hat. He was there as well. I got to interview him. Kenny Youngblood was there. We talked. There's a guy named Bible Bob.
That's
who
from an
was,
aerial shot. Sorry.
Yeah, and he's doing a video on Deist safety.
Oh,
And I believe someone from Deist was there.
Yeah, his granddaughter.
His granddaughter
Donna
was there.
Deist
Donna
was
Deist
there.
was taking photographs.
Yeah.
wow, weird to see the newspaper articles, proclaiming the death of the strip.
Yeah. And
There's Linda.
there's Linda Vaughn. As much as I love drag racing, I was a latecomer to the sport and the legitimate. There's Sutton right now.
Is that Larry?
Yeah, I believe so. With that cowboy hat on? Could be.
Wow.
No, there's no pipe in his mouth. It couldn't be Larry.
Ah.
But my first legitimate drag race was the 1970 Winter Nationals.
That's the Vulcan's car.
Yeah.
There's Winged
There it
Express. They said that the last drag. See,
And I was there for the last
They
drag
put
race.
that sign up right before they ran because they were afraid people were going to steal it.
They did.
And people went nuts and tore that drag strip apart
Yeah.
after the last race because they wanted souvenirs.
Souvenirs from it. And that I was at that race. I was at the last Irwindale, the original Irwindale. I was at the last Lions, and the first race I ever went to was the Winter Nationals in 1970. And it was it left a mark on me. I was so excited to become involved with
That
drag
says
racing.
Lions in the Sky. Back up. Do you know who that is?
No.
That's Adam Sorokin.
That's Adam?
Uh-huh.
No. Adam
Yeah.
would have been too young at that point.
No,
That could have been Mike.
it might be Mike.
Yeah, because Adam
It says Lions in
yeah,
the Sky.
because Adam's not old enough,
Oh, then it's Mike
Yeah.
when he was a little boy.
probably.
I want to be at an age where somebody can say you're not old enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want
not
that.
anymore.
I know.
That's when childhood was really exciting because today it's all about. It's not about that. It's although unless you're into Demolition Derby, which I love.
I will be Saturday night.
Are you
Irwindale,
really?
Night of Destruction. It's my first anniversary.
Congratulations.
And we have another couple getting married on the starting line.
Oh, great! So somebody came through with it.
Someone came through, and Victor and his future wife, Angelica, are going to be married on the starting line at Irwindale this Saturday night under the lights, 5:45 during the autograph session.
Man,
So
that's
many
perfect.
people were there. Look at that.
Yeah,
It
look
was
at all
a
the people that
zoo.
were there. And
Should we give Peg a trophy for being married to you for a year?
she probably earned it. Well, she's gotten a few for her car, so I don't know. And that's the other thing. I got to still try and get her car running. We have a fuel leak. I've got to get it fixed so she can drive it out on Saturday.
Now, was the last race Prudhomme and Tom McEwen?
I don't remember. I was just there. I can't remember. I don't remember details because that was just everything was just so exciting and visual and that I don't remember anything other than being there and going. We caravan down a bunch of guys from.
That's when they were tripping the asphalt out of the track.
Holy cow!
Mm-hmm. The people just went crazy.
Wow.
Who's that?
John Lundberg.
Okay.
Lundberg.
I was trying to that's an aerial shot. Look at that. It was packed.
Yeah.
Just trying to get as much photos, and that's afterward. They just destroyed the
Destroyed the truck.
They
There's
just
nothing
tore
left,
it
yeah.
to shreds.
Well, they're going to recreate that crossover bridge
How about
at Lorenzen's at Price Transfer.
Now, what's the story on, like, will it be a place where people can, I mean, an actual museum you can go in, you get, what, pay admission, you go in? Or?
I'm not sure how he's going to set it up for that. I know it's set up, and it as a museum, there are different rooms and so forth with different types of vehicles.
There's Larry.
From yep, and some of it is Rick Stewart. Now the rumor I heard about Rick Stewart is he's one of the first guys. There's Mickey
That
Thompson
was Mickey, back up.
and Lundberg. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure who's got the cigar
Mickey's in the
mouth.
middle.
Yeah, Mickey in the middle. And I'm not sure who's the guy with the cigar.
Yeah, it looks like, what's that guy, Drew,
Drew Carey?
yeah.
Yeah, no, I
That's
don't
not Drew
think
Carey.
so.
God. Oh, man.
Don
Memories.
Prieto.
Yep. There's
Ed
Iski.
Iskandarian.
He was there.
He was there. We talked to him for a long time. He has a film crew following him around to do a documentary on him.
Ah.
These are guys just... there's
Roland Leong
Roland.
with dark hair. Look at that.
Yeah.
Ah, how about it?
And there's Warren. You can just... There's Judy Thompson. That's
Yeah.
Mickey's wife, first wife, Judy.
She was there. Mm-hmm. Gas
There's
Ronda,
Tommy.
Tommy Ivo. He was there. Of course, we had to wait for him to get there in the afternoon because he doesn't get up in the mornings.
Yeah.
There. Now,
Tommy.
this is where they were showing the original photo and then what it is today. It's a trucking lot for container storage.
Yeah, it's about 2 or 3 blocks away from where the Price Transfer is right now. They were going to try and build a museum at the location,
That's
but
it
it's
now.
just not possible.
Yeah.
So Mr. Lorenzen basically said, okay, we'll do it in my warehouse.
And that's the credits. I mean, there must have been 300 people who worked on this
Yeah.
video. I mean, just the research, all the drag racers, all the teams. And this, that's a Linda Von doll.
Oh,
And
that's
that-
so cool.
Yeah, and the poster before it was an original poster. That belongs to Dar Hawthorne. He pulled that off the wall
Wow.
on the last night and laminated it.
Oh, gee.
So that's pretty cool. And then Linda and her book.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah. Hey, some
autographs.
Models that someone was selling.
She wasn't feeling good, so she didn't come.
No, she's still recovering from that infection she had.
And that is that
That's the
Shirley? Shirley from the NHRA Museum?
It's yeah.
Now, there's one of the original timing books.
Yeah, that Dar had.
Amazing.
Everything was handwritten back
Handwritten with the most beautiful handwriting I have
Yeah.
ever seen.
That's because nobody
Perfect.
teaches that anymore.
then. No.
Oh, it was beautiful.
And it could have been Larry Sutton's wife doing it.
Yes, it was.
Or his ex.
Yeah. Now, were they given those T-shirts? There's one of the books.
No, you could buy them, and I did.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Good man.
And
Wow, look at
that car is a commemorative to the fallen military, and there are names in the white in the area.
Oh, that explains. It looks far away like striping, but those
Yeah.
are names.
They're all
So
names
they're
of
all
the
names.
fallen.
Oh, my.
And Mr. Lorenzen is a corporate sponsor for the Fallen Heroes.
Yes,
.org.
they had a booth there as well. All right, here we go. Now we're seeing some current stuff. There's Stormy. That's as current as we can get. And then the gentleman to his right is the man who owns that '49 Ford with the flathead,
Right,
Ah,
and he's been racing it ever since he was a kid.
right.
man.
And there's
There-
Larry Sutton.
That's Larry Sutton.
That's Stormy with his heroes. Larry Sutton and his son
Yeah, there you go.
holding the book that his wife actually
Probably Pam Sutton.
worked on.
Yeah, I used to work with Pam a
Now,
lot.
this is Venice Vega, and that is the original nose piece.
Yeah, Gerald Conrad, they contacted one of the people, I forgot, we were talking about it too, and he had this hanging on his wall for years. And, what the heck, I'll bring it down to you. I'm not using it anymore. But that's the nose from the original car.
That is so cool.
And if you look, it's an earlier model Vega,
Indeed.
because it's a small bumper.
Yeah, yeah, with the split.
But I guess the car crashed, and that was the remains.
Right. And if you look underneath the current nose, you can see the weld where they cut it out and repatched it with fiberglass or whatever.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a weld, Anna. But
or
it's
whatever. What was it? A glue?
patch.
A patch.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they
I'm learning.
fiberglassed it.
That's
Now,
the
here-
cackle.
Yeah, here we are at the Kango. Look at the original Hustler.
Wow.
And a lot of these cars were the original cars. A lot of them fired up.
There's Harry Hibbler, my boss, in
Harry
the middle.
Hibbler, and then
Stormy.
and
The guy who-
mental blank. He's one of our NHRA announcers. Was the announcer at Tucson. Gosh, I got a mental blank on
And
that. I always go blank.
he's restored the car.
He's restored a back-motored dragster, and it just got the motor in time to come out.
Oh, nice.
That was
Steve Gibbs.
there's Steve and Harry.
Some of the push vehicles.
Yeah, yeah. Oh boy.
I think we're going to put a push bar on the front of our 56 wagon.
Yeah,
So
really.
we can help push start.
Nice.
Here's me and Iski.
Ah, that's a great shot.
He's
Look at you
such a
guys.
sweetie.
Yep.
He is the sweetest.
Ora May.
Now
and,
that's Ora May
Robin and Deist.
Donna Deist,
Oh.
the granddaughter.
Yeah.
All right.
And that display case is full of model cars that have been built. It's packed with little dragsters.
Oh, so they're
Kenny
mostly-
Youngblood.
And Bones Balo.
Yep. Had Bones on a panel.
That's where
discussion we did.
I touched that. That is the original.
Stonewood, the original Stone
The
Woods and
original.
Cook
That's an
Willys.
Eddie Martinez interior.
Really?
Yes. So I took that picture to show Eddie. He'll be so excited.
Is it really as small as it looks in there?
Yeah, because remember the Willys Americar was an economy car. Mm-hmm. It was a two-seater. It was powered by a four-cylinder engine. It was a very lightweight vehicle. It was not. They only had that, and that's why drag racers gravitated towards the car. It was so lightweight. You put a V8 in it, they flew. The problem is the frame was only strong enough for a four-cylinder.
That interior was originally white. That is the original interior, and it's literally turned cream
Wow.
from age.
And I remember building the model of that car.
Oh, how about
They
it?
had the model. I think it was Revell. They put the model out back in those days.
Jeez, that is
And
amazing.
there's an overhead shot or a high-level shot. That was. It almost looked like we were getting ready for the drivers' meeting before we started things up.
Man.
Or that could have been when we were cackling them. Yeah, that's when we were cackling them because now they're up against the wall.
And you can see people's fingers in their ears.
Yeah.
Yes. Not
I think
mine. I
that's
didn't hear it.
kind of where you were announcing from. I was
Yeah.
kind of behind you off to the side.
Could have been. Yeah.
Now there's the mural.
That's one of the murals inside. This is in the Willys room, and it's got John Masmanian's car and the Stone Woods and Cook car.
God.
Now these are some of his. Now the coupe is not his. The 32. That was one of the guys that helped put this on, and the T was someone else's as well. But that was the entrance into the building, and you walked right through the speed shop. There's a replica of the Texaco station he and his dad had, and those are his Corvettes.
You can
Yeah,
trust
lovely.
the car to the man who wears the star.
Yeah. Now that here's the speed shop, and I couldn't get Peg to leave because there were flathead engines in there.
The attention to detail at this collection is extraordinary. This
And-
is a museum quality private collection.
It is, and these are real tiles on the floor.
Oh.
There's there's one of the cars. Here's his Willys collection.
Holy moly.
Yeah, he's got.
That's only
it's-
one side of it, though, Bruce.
Yeah.
I did not know. I mean, the car in the foreground.
33.
Wow. Jeez. Oh, look at those Metropolitans.
Little Metro and an Amphicar.
Now
Yeah.
that's at the soda. That's
Right
in the
outside
soda
the
shop.
restaurant, yeah. And there's a Willys convertible. Now, someone made one of the later Willys, 1954 Willys, into a convertible. It's on the end. Then you got the shark nose, and then the Willys that everyone associates with Willys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And gassers.
Didn't know Willys made a convertible.
Now that's in the darker room.
Don't think they did. I think someone
I'm
made
sorry,
that.
that's dark. That's the movie
Yeah.
theater with the marquee, so it was kind
Chrysler
of dark in
300.
there.
Yes, at
That
300.
was the high performance
Edsel
Chryslers.
is
and an
next to
Edsel.
it.
Yep, right next to it.
There's beautiful. God bless him for conserving all this American
There's the Caddy
steel.
convertible, and there's the music store that has actual instruments inside and records.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I can't tell what the store is next to it, but that's
hobby shop.
That's the hobby shop, and then there's the arcade with real '60s vintage pinball machines.
How long did it take him? That's the bullet car.
That's the bullet car with the
How
theater
long did
in
it
the
take
back.
him to build this?
Don't
couple
know.
years at least?
Yeah, I know Dave Mandela's been helping him for a long time on it. That's the
Yeah,
movie
Back
car
to the
from Back to the Future, and there's the mural with the Back to the Future building.
Marty, we got to go back.
Now that is a little
that
coin-operated
cool?
ride.
That is so cool.
kidding.
I had to
that's-
shoot that.
Remember when we were kids and you used to go to the grocery store and you ride the
Totally.
horse or the car? Or that is one. It's an Indian motorcycle.
Have you ever seen one of those?
No. Never,
Me
ever.
neither. I
No,
was
that
so
thing-
excited
and
to
it's-
take that picture.
I don't know if it works or not. They didn't want anyone climbing on it, but I mean, it's beautifully restored.
Wow. And look at the little coin-operated box there.
Yeah.
It's a nickel for
Yeah.
the ride. Wow. Oh, and
There's
there's
the horse. Which
That's
we all
Trigger.
did. Trigger.
And
Yes, it is.
the vintage bicycles.
It was 10 cents to ride Trigger, 5 cents to ride the Indian motorcycle.
Yeah, what's that about?
Yeah,
Back to the Batmobile.
the Batmobile.
Now, which of the many Batmobiles would this be? Do you know?
I don't know, but it's a shiny one, so it wasn't the one actually used on the show.
Yeah.
Because for show purposes, they dulled it, so
Yeah.
it wouldn't reflect back.
I think to this very day they have to do that with TV and movie
Yeah, they
cars.
use a spray dulling or something on some of the highlights.
And there's several versions, like the
Yeah.
close-up car. Excuse me.
I think there's also, speaking of several versions, Anna, I know some of the Batmobiles did not have stainless steel around the windshield domes. It was this black, black trim. So
Yeah, it was basically because he had to make his own. The first one was the Ford show car.
Yeah.
That he basically painted black, flared the fenders on, put some red trim and some doodads on it, and he got credit for making the Batmobile.
Right, he said, "Hey,
it was
look what
actually
I
the
did."
Ford Futura.
Right. Now, there's several versions. One of them is called a beauty car. That's the one that they do the close-up shots on, so all the props have to work.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And then they have other kind of semi-stunt cars for the long shot and the back shot, etc. So there was a couple of them, but the original one was sold by George Barris to a private collector, I think in Arizona,
Yeah, for a few $1 million.
for $4 million. Now, what is that?
It's a very dark photo
What did
outside.
I do? That's one of my blonde moments. Okay, we're back to the beginning. So we just ran through 426 photos.
Oh my God!
That amazing. Good for you, Anna.
Yay!
You made it.
We made it,
I took
and we still have
pictures.
time to spare.
Okay.
Now, if you can go onto Facebook. Bubba Villard has allowed us to use his photographs, and he's got a lot of shots of the Cackle Fest in progress.
Oh, good. You know, I didn't really get up close to those because they smell. The
Right,
nitro is
nitro.
so horrifying.
If you
I
have
can't handle it.
allergies,
Yeah.
it will take care of them immediately. Randy Cardoon, a friend of ours from KNX Radio, was out there with his wife, and she's not a car person. And the minute they fired up, she had to get out of there. The nitro was burning her eyes, and some of the guys were running a real heavy load, and you could tell by the way it cackled. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it
was
would
music.
drop down into that throaty roar.
Yeah.
But they should call it noxious oxide because you can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was great. We had 20 cars all fired up at the same time. Now, initially we started up, we warmed up randomly.
Yeah.
So we let the cars start up and warm up as they wanted to. Then at, I believe it was 4 o'clock, we fired them from one end to the other
Man.
and then pushed them across the lot up to the area they ended up at, that they fired all up at the same time
Jeez.
at 7:30.
That must have been
Or 7 o'clock, actually.
thunderous.
We moved it up. And yeah, you had 20 cars all fired up at the same time. It was an amazing sound, and I'm sure the fire department and the police department were getting calls of some explosions in the area going on or something, because it was just amazing. And as usual, I forgot my headset earphones, so I got the full dose of it, and I'll tell you what, it was great. It cleared every bit of wax out of my ears. It was great, and we had a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of the guys, talk to a lot of the guys. Because of the California Hot Rod Reunion and other events, I got to talk to a lot of people that I would normally see anyway. But it was great in this setting because it was a far more relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we all had double-doubles because In-N-Out Burger was there.
Can't go wrong with
No,
that.
can't go wrong with that. And for those
There
that-
was an hour and a half wait for those burgers.
Yeah, they got to work on that. Peg had gotten in line for us, and I had gone to do a few interviews. Came back, and I thought, well, gosh, the burger's going to be cold. She hadn't even gotten to the burgers yet.
Whoops.
So I went and helped her in line and waited.
And by the time I got my burger, there was no fries.
No, there never was any fries. They gave you potato chips.
Oh. Oh.
No, there never was
okay.
fries. So you're
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
Dang.
It's that blonde thing
Well,
again.
big hand for Mr. Lorenzen
Yes.
for having sharing that with us.
And all the guys
We're
that
so
work for
happy.
Price Transfer and volunteered to help, because this was one amazing event. I'll tell you what, it was the logistics that had to go into this were tremendous.
They were
Moving
months.
everything in.
Months they were working on that.
Yeah, they were. I got to go on a pre-tour, I guess. Dave Mandela brought me in about a week and a half before, and I was in awe. Tom McEwen was there, and he walked through the door, was carrying some stuff, and as he walked in through the speed shop, he dropped everything and went, oh,
Yeah.
because it was just that impressive a display. Now, Peterson Museum is an impressive display. There are private collections that are impressive displays. This is more than impressive. This is flat amazing, and the majority of the vehicles are privately owned by Mr. Lorenzen.
It was like the who's who of drag racing party.
Yeah.
You could feel the excitement, the buzz in the room. It was just fabulous. I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to participate in that. Yeah, awesome.
Isn't it so weird that, this is one of those things that so often it's just a one-time deal. And, then it goes away and you just go, well, I was there. And
Oh, better to be there than not be there.
Yeah.
I should have signed my name on the wall somewhere. Anna was here.
yeah.
They were signing a board, which was pretty cool, but I didn't get to do that.
Well.
So what else? What's coming up? We have a Demolition Derby, right?
I did want to. There's a video clip here, a tribute that I think RTM Productions
Oh, let's watch
produced
that.
for.
The on Edelbrock?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, but I know, Bob, you were in it for
I'm
a
in
brief
it,
second.
and they've asked us not to use it.
Yeah, and that's okay because they're the owners of the video. But
Right.
it's cool that you were there.
Yeah.
At least you appear in their tribute.
I appeared. I was with Vic and his wife doing a trophy presentation at their annual car show.
Yeah.
And that ended up being part of this great video that they did on the tribute to Vic.
Yeah.
I think I sent you some other things too, but I don't remember what now. It's been a long week.
And they just hired the new president for Edelbrock, didn't they? Another gearhead lover?
No, it's going to be interesting
I think they
because
did.
Vic had, I don't believe, or maybe maintained controlling interest, but was no longer the sole owner of Edelbrock.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of other stuff, Bob, I know that this newspaper story appeared about the roadkill nights.
Yes, that's what I sent you.
Yeah. And is there a backstory here?
Well, what it is every year in Detroit they do the Woodward Dream Cruise. Now, Woodward Boulevard is 8 lanes wide. It has a huge center divider, and it hosts the largest one-day cruise in the country. What they've decided to do is do street drags along with this event because it's gone from a one-day to a week-long event. So what they're doing is they're setting up street drags. No spray, no high
so it's like racing in a parking lot.
It's like racing
No
in a parking
traction.
lot. They block off, I believe it's
Oh, boy.
it's up in Pontiac, Michigan. And they block this off, and this is a part now of the Woodward Dream Cruise. And I've been lucky enough to go to that 3 times. They haven't done this. They've expanded it tremendously. And it's one of those bucket list things that that Peg and I want to do, is go back for this, because if you have never been to Woodward Dream Cruise, you are missing a lot. Because in Detroit, it's not just Fords and Chevys. It's Moparts, it's Oldsmobiles, it's Pontiacs. You name it, it comes out. It's 4 lanes, 10 miles long, bumper-to-bumper traffic during the Woodward Dream Cruise day.
But that looked like a racetrack. Where were they shooting that? Is it a street?
No, they brought in the barricades
Oh.
and the Jersey Wall, and the manufacturers are getting involved in supporting this. As you can see, there's a gentleman from Chrysler Corp. They're all there to support this, because although we're battling with people here in California to keep racetracks open and keep motorsports alive, the rest of the country is looking to better ways of improving and making more venues. And as you see in the background, I believe that's the Pontiac Dome.
Well, the United States is the birthplace of drag racing. And the RPM Act with SEMA is trying to
Yes.
save that. So go vote on the SEMA webpage
Please.
and give us your support on keeping drag racing alive and well.
Yeah, and it's not just drag racing. It's actually converting a new car into a purpose-built race car.
Yeah.
And that is what the RPM Act is stopping, which makes no sense at all, because you're taking a vehicle off the street, and it will only be run maybe once or twice a month, a quarter mile or an eighth mile at a time. And the RPM Act is trying to stop that, and in essence making drivers of cars outlaws if they decide they want to make their car into a race car.
Amazing.
So it's a tough situation.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, thanks to Detroit Free Press for supplying that
Yes.
video that we saw of the Woodward. Now, so it's the Woodward Avenue. It's not the Dream Cruise now.
It is it is part of the Woodward Dream Cruise now. It's a week-long event now, and the drag racing is part of it.
That's pretty cool. And yes, bring your own, bring it in, race it, because we saw there was a Plymouth Prowler, I think, in one lane, and like a Chevy van in the other.
Well, there's a Ford Flex.
Yeah, Ford Flex.
Proof positive you do not need a race car to have fun drag racing.
Indeed. That's great stuff.
Well, that wraps it up. That was
It
an
does.
hour of
Wow.
racing.
How is that
Zoom.
possible? Yeah, zoom.
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 Some sort of a Mazda thing going here. Man. Hey, Bob, good to
Yes.
see you again, because
I'm
I
glad
know
I was able to make it.
our last edition of the show, you were out and about
I
traveling.
was in Bowling Green, Kentucky at the Holly National Hot Rod Reunion.
Yeah, well, and of course, it was great to talk to you about the National Corvette Museum,
Yes.
and as well the Holly, the Hot Rod Reunion, and Anna and I, we were anchoring the place here, and it
Yeah.
seemed like
Thanks for showing up to work, Bob.
I'm glad I could make it,
I know, man.
I told the guys we had trouble getting around and stuff. And
Yeah, I still think it's just perfect that you can be a couple of minutes late to a car show because of traffic, because that's just kind of what it's about.
yeah, it's a
You know,
car show.
officially they released that we are the worst in Los Angeles is the worst traffic in the United States today.
You know what? They keep saying that. Have you ever driven in downtown Atlanta during rush hour?
No.
Not.
New York City. I'm
Okay.
sorry. We're bad.
Those
They're
towns.
just they're ridiculously bad. I'm sorry. I've driven in many states and cities that have rush hour, and I'll take California's, at least from
Well,
leaving.
you know what they say: drive the street, race the track.
That's right. And come to Irwindale. We'll begin racing Thursday and Friday night on the drag strip.
Excellent.
Saturday night, Night of Destruction. We got a couple getting married. A lot of people renewing their vows. I know I'm not supposed to say renewing your vows because you didn't expire. Joe Walla, the surf band leader, is going to be our minister performing the ceremony.
Perfect.
Come on out. And, contact me if you've got a hot rod. You want to come in, 3 p.m. Hot rods come in free. But you got to contact me first.
Wow. That's a beautiful thing.
Bye.
Hey, in case you missed any of tonight's show, well, that's what's going on for the next couple of weeks until we're back with another edition of this very show.
And with a lot more stuff.
Yeah, a lot more stuff. Yeah, this is the precursor to big news to come.
What's hot, what's not, and what's going to be, and you've got gas.
All right, right now the encore presentation of this very show airs next, and thanks for watching and listening. We'll talk to you next time right here.